They never wore crowns, yet they financed kings. They didn't win wars, but their money decided who did. From the shadows of history, they built empires not with swords, but with signatures. Their influence could start revolutions, shape nations, and rebuild entire worlds. This is the untold story of the banking dynasties that finance nations, and how their quiet power still drives the modern world you live in. Long before Wall Street or the IMF, there were families, not governments, who controlled the flow of gold and credit. In medieval Europe, trade was booming, but kingdoms were broke. Wars were expensive, kings were always in debt, and that's where the money changers came in. One of the first, the Medici family, in 15th century Florence. The Medicis revolutionized finance. They invented the double-entry bookkeeping system, created branches across Europe, and became the personal bankers of popes and monarchs. Lorenzo de' Medici, Lorenzo the Magnificent, didn't just fund art and architecture, he financed the Renaissance. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Botticelli, all thrived because of Medici gold. Without their money, the Renaissance might have never happened. This was the first sign that money could move civilization forward. Fast forward to the 18th century. In a cramp house in Frankfurt, a gold dealer named Meyer Amschel Rothschild was teaching his 5 sons the art of finance. Each son would go on to build a financial fortress in Europe's greatest capitals: London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt. They didn't just lend money, they lent power. When Napoleon went to war, the Rothschilds funded both sides, not through greed, but through calculated neutrality. They moved gold faster than armies, using carrier pigeons and coded letters, decades before telegraphs existed. When the British won at Waterloo, Nathan Rothschild, the London brother, already knew. He used that knowledge to shape markets and rewrite the course of British finance. At their peak, the Rothschilds controlled the world's largest private fortune. They financed railways, governments, and revolutions, and introduced the concept of international banking. But the true power wasn't the gold they owned, it was the trust they built. In a world of chaos, nations turned to them for stability. They proved that influence isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's built in silence, over generations. By the late 1800s, a new empire was rising, America. And with it, a new kind of banker. J.P. Morgan wasn't born a king, but he built an empire that rivaled nations. When the US government ran out of gold in 1895, it was Morgan, not Congress, who bailed it out. He single-handedly stabilized the US dollar and saved the American economy. In 1907, panic struck Wall Street. Markets crashed, banks collapsed, and once again, J.P. Morgan stepped in. He gathered the nation's top financiers in his library and refused to let them leave until they agreed to a rescue plan. That night, one man prevented a national depression. His power was so immense that the US later created the Federal Reserve, partly to ensure no single man could ever wield that much financial control again. J.P. Morgan wasn't just a banker. He was a builder of systems, of structure, of stability. He showed that true wealth lies not in money, but in the institutions you build that outlive you. After World War I and II, the world was bankrupt, literally. Europe lay in ruins, industries were shattered, currencies collapsed. But from the ashes, banks rose again, financing reconstruction. The Rothschilds invested in post-war recovery. Rockefeller's Chase Bank helped rebuild Western Europe under the Marshall Plan. And the Bank of England became a model for central banking worldwide. From Tokyo to Paris, from New York to Zurich, the same system was being replicated. Private capital fueling public progress. Even nations without natural resources could now thrive if they could access credit. That was the real revolution, money as the great equalizer. And behind every skyscraper, every innovation, every revolution, there was always a banker who believed in the impossible. Think about it. From the invention of the light bulb to the internet boom, someone had to fund the dream before the world believed in it. So what can we, everyday dreamers, learn from the families and financiers who built nations? They thought in centuries, not years. Meyer Rothschild's vision wasn't for his lifetime. It was for his bloodline. The true rich build legacies, not paychecks. They understood trust is currency. Every empire, financial or not, stands on reputation. The Rothschilds, Morgans, Medicis, they all built credibility before wealth. They invested in people. Behind every fortune was someone they believed in, inventors, kings, or artists. The Medicis didn't just fund art, they funded ideas. And they stayed invisible. True power doesn't need applause. They let nations take credit while they quietly wrote the checks that made history possible. Their legacy isn't just in vaults and ledgers, it's in every bridge built, every company launched, every war prevented by negotiation instead of bloodshed. The banking empires that financed nations didn't just create wealth. They created stability, innovation, and the modern world. They remind us that influence isn't about volume, it's about vision. That true power isn't in control, it's in creation. So the next time you pass a bank tower or see a world leader shake hands, remember, somewhere, someone financed that moment. And maybe, just maybe, you could be the next to fund the impossible. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more stories of hidden power.